Welcome one, welcome all to DeFi Crypto and Airdrops. I am Mike, aka Veteran Crypto, and with me as always every Monday and Tuesday is Jeff, aka the Blockchain Report. How's it going, brother?
So going well, going well. Had a great weekend. Danced my ass off at a few music events with some friends, so my legs are kind of cooked, but I'm happy to be sitting down with all of you today and tomorrow night too. But how about yourself? You have a good weekend?
Yeah, I always have a good weekend. I just did some work outside. Did all my usual Sunday chores, laundry, kind of reset for the week, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, nothing crazy. But yeah, gonna start looking at some real estate.
Hmm.
Tomorrow during the day before our show, and really just kind of feel like I'm getting ready for what potentially is going to start happening here in here and hopefully the next the coming weeks with the with the potential alt season coming up.
Anywhere in particular you're looking for real estate?
Just here in the area, just
Okay.
just looking to potentially get another property. It's definitely something that I'm very bullish on, and I'm looking at bare property mostly for the timber, and then also for potentially later on down the road doing some improvements. Like putting septic on, adding power, getting a building site ready, so it's turnkey for somebody. So buy a piece of property for 80 grand, take some of the timber off of it for 30 or 40. I get it for, 40 grand, and then,
Mhm.
put some money, that some of that money back into it to improve it, and then flip it for, 150, 180 and make a nice little profit. You know what I mean? And I don't have to worry about, building a home or anything like that. It's, boom, 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 boom.
Using the resources on the land. A lot of
Yeah.
people don't understand how they can utilize that, so that's smart. Very
So,
smart.
let's go ahead and jump on into this because I want to make sure we have enough time to cover everything. And I want to cover two things today. I want to cover this, new Plasma project, something I'm actually very bullish on. I started doing some initial research and got bullish enough that I actually FOMO'd a little bit and got into a long on it. Just I'm kind of playing with longs right now, very small positions, using a yield that I'm earning, so a couple $100, nothing crazy, but potentially being able to turn it into a nice bag of plasma or XPL. So I want to talk about that. And then I also want to talk about some news, some breaking news that as it pertains to Swift, Link, Linea, potentially affecting XRP and Ripple and things like that. So definitely stay tuned. We're going to get into all that. So do you want to kick us over to the socials and we'll go through that
Yeah.
first?
Yeah. Well, I appreciate all of you for joining us here at DeFi Crypto and Airdrops, where me and Mike go live every Monday and now Tuesday. Monday at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. Tuesday, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. We get a little more degen on that one. It's a little more kickback. And also, Mike goes live with David and Jake from Metrics Finance and DeFi University every Wednesday and Friday, 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern. And man, that show you guys did the other day on Friday was fucking killer. So if you haven't
Yeah.
checked that out, that was so good. David breaks down how you can live off of your DeFi portfolio for a lot less than I was really expecting. So that was encouraging. So check
Well,
that
and
out.
he was also dropping alpha about how to go bankless, using EtherFi and things like that. So I mean, just so much value, on those
Mhm.
shows. And then we will be starting up the Thursday show again, probably this week. If not, we'll be definitely next week with Taylor and TradFi Jeff.
Oh, nice. Yeah, the money talks. So every
Yep.
Thursday at 10 a.m. Pacific, same time,
Yes. Yes.
10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. Yeah, that's a lot of great stuff. Traditional finance, law experts, a lot of great alpha. And check out our brother channels. If you're new to DeFi, Mike's got a great DeFi Academy that you can dive into. A lot of good master classes in here, help you go from zero to expert. And check out our brother channels, Discover Crypto, Blockchain Basement, DeFi Income with Jake Paul, DeFi University, and me at the Blockchain Report. And you can catch us on Twitter, the underscore only underscore DCA. You can catch Mike at Veteran for Crypto. And all of these links will be in the description below. So that way you're following the right accounts. And me at the BCR142. We're also streaming on pump.fun. We had to create a token in order to stream on here, and it was a fair launch. So all of the tokens are released. And we bought a little bit just so we own some, got some skin in the game.
I bought $50. You bought $50. The rest are out.
So, yeah,
So-
we're not going to be dumping on people or anything like that.
And we actually got some people in the chat on Pump.Fun. So, shout out to all of you listening on Pump.Fun.
Yeah, we appreciate y'all. And also, we have a Discord right here that is free, or DeFi Crypto and Airdrops Discord. A lot of great stuff in there being shared, a lot of hot projects. Vet's got his DeFi tracking portfolios and ladder out plans. So check that out. And also Discover Investments Group. They have a free sections as well, and also a paid trading stuff. You can get access to their portfolios, trading portfolios, trade setups, and more. So we got all the alpha, and last Tuesday we had on Crypto Crank, a TA expert. So shared a bunch of great information.
Actually, he might start joining us every week on one of our shows. Either on Monday or Tuesday. I'm still talking with him to see his availability.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, he was great, down to earth dude.
Oh hell yeah,
really a lot of great stuff. So very important to have people that you can trust in this space that aren't just sharing screenshots and being like sharing bullshit. There's a lot of
doctored screenshots to be more
screenshots.
Yeah, and that's what we're trying to build here. Is we definitely want to create a community and a network of channels that you can trust. If we ever do monetize, we're not monetized at all. We pay out of pocket for everything we do here. If that does change, we will be fully transparent about that. And we aren't going to be talking about, if we talk about a project and we're paid for it, we are going to be honest about it. And we're going to make sure that if somebody pays us to talk about a project, that they understand it's going to be a unbiased, 100%, pros and cons, peel back
Same
the
way we're doing it now.
Exactly. And if they're not okay with that, then we're going to, then we'll just do our deep dive without getting paid.
Yeah. No. Channel of integrity here. And we appreciate all of you for sharing this out, liking this. And if you're on Twitter watching this, please jump over to the YouTube channel and join the chat there. There's a lot more engagement. So,
and please just like. I mean, we are trying to grow this channel, and it is free to you to click the like. It helps us grow. So, with that, enough shilling ourselves. Let's jump right into this. Do you want to take us right into Plasma, and then we can kind of discuss
I'm actually new to Plasma. I saw the airdrop last week that went down, and I guess
how did that go?
So I saw a bunch of people saying that, if you deposited $1 in the Plasma network or whatever, then you got an airdrop of $10,000, but that wasn't quite true. So you had to be an accredited investor in order to participate in the ICO, the initial coin offering or the pre-sale. So projects will do community offerings where you can invest a certain amount of money and get the token at a cheaper price before it launches. Well, this one, I guess you had to be an accredited investor in order to get involved with that. So people were sharing, I only bought $1 worth of the ICO or the pre-launch sale, and I got $9,000 in the airdrop. But I guess there's some bullshit with that. So I was kind of looking at this, and it's a blockchain built for stablecoins, and
Yes.
that's
You know what? Hey, you want to give Miles a chance and see how
yeah.
Miles does? We haven't talked to Miles in a minute.
No, let's see how Miles is
All right.
doing these
Let's
days. If you
let
got
me
any
know.
upgrades.
Yeah, let me know if you can hear Miles. Hold on.
Things are going well.
Yeah. Hey, Miles. Can you say hi to the audience and to Jeff for me?
Sure thing. Hey, everybody. And Jeff,
Sounds
what's
good.
up?
All right. So we want to give you a chance to tell us a little bit about a project we're about to do a deep dive on. It's called Plasma, and the ticker is XPL, X-ray Papa Lima. It's a stable coin chain that supports stable coins. Can you see if you can find anything on that project and maybe tell us a little bit about it?
Gotcha. Plasma ticker XPL. Okay, so from what I'm seeing, it's a fairly new project, launched earlier this month actually, and it's positioned as a decentralized finance infrastructure layer specifically designed for stablecoins. It aims to improve the capital efficiency of stablecoins through a system they call fractional reserve stablecoins, backed by real world assets. It looks like they're trying to address some of the limitations of existing stablecoins, particularly around scalability and the need for over collateralization. They do that by allowing users to mint XPL using a range of collateral assets, and they claim a higher capital efficiency than, say, DAI. The core of it seems to revolve around a risk adjusted reserve ratio, so the amount of collateral backing XPL fluctuates based on the assessed risk of the underlying assets. They've got a governance token, PLSMA, used for staking and governance stuff. Seems
So
like they're heavily focused.
So, Miles, real quick, can you summarize that and simplify? What is it that Plasma is trying to do? What use case or what pain point are they trying to address?
Right. Yeah. Sorry for the info dump there. Uh, Basically, Plasma is trying to make stablecoins better. Specifically, they want to make them more efficient. Existing stablecoins often need a lot of extra stuff backing them up. Over collateralization, Plasma aims to do the same job, being a reliable digital dollar, but with less locked up capital. They're trying to unlock more value from the same assets, and they're doing it by dynamically adjusting how much backing each stablecoin needs based on how risky the stuff backing it actually is. So less waste, more use. Got
So, my next question would be if they are focused on stable coins, are they how have they aligned
got
themselves with the stablecoin legislation and the Genius Act, with stablecoins needing to be backed one to one with either the U.S. dollar or a U.S. dollar equivalent? And are they aligning themselves with compliance with KYC and anti money laundering AML?
Okay, good question. That's definitely a key thing to look at. From what I'm seeing, they're positioning themselves as compliant, but it's a little nuanced. They're aiming for compliance with existing and upcoming regulations, like the ones you mentioned. There's the potential requirements around one to women backing. However, their fractional reserve model seems intentionally designed to navigate around that by using a risk-weighted approach to collateralization. They believe that isn't necessarily in conflict, but it's not a direct one-to-one peg as some legislation might prefer.
All right, Miles, I
They
appreciate it.
emphasize trans. Nah, gotcha. No problem. Happy to help. Just let me know what you.
All right. So that gives us an idea of what plasma is. I mean, that's a great place to start. What plasma is and what the pain point or the use case that they're actually going after. So they aren't necessarily launching a stable coin. They're looking to support stable coins. And I saw that you had something interesting up. It looks like some sort of card. What's that all about?
Oh yeah, I was looking at this Plasma One. So join the wait list. 4% cash back, 150 countries covered, plus and 10% plus yield. So it looks like kind of the coin. They're taking a page out of the Coinbase one.
Mhm.
card that launched. Spend while you earn. Pay with your stablecoin balance as it earns with instant availability. Earn up to 4% cash back with extra boost at partners. Tap, swipe, or buy online in over 150 plus countries. Zero fee, USDT, zero. And this, if you see this USDT with the 2 slashes through it, it's USDT zero. And onboard in minutes, and you'll receive a virtual card and start spending, not days. Because how long did it take you to get the Coinbase card?
Coinbase One card, just a couple of days. It was
Okay.
like 2 or 3 days. So not too long. But there's some as this matures, I might get this card because I'm only earning up to 4%. I'm earning 2% now. But as I spend, I can get up to 4% with the Coinbase One card. But this
Hmm.
one, looks like you get, and I get paid in Bitcoin, which is good. This one, it looks like that you earn 4%, and with extra boosts, with partners.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, you mentioned something about earning 10% APY or APR.
Yeah, it says 10% plus yield. So down here, your money never sleeps. Your stablecoins should work until the moment you use them. So pay against your earning stablecoin balance with instant availability at 10% plus. So I guess it's native yield on the card or on your account that will earn as it just sits there.
That would be
That's what it seems like.
interesting. That would keep on going. I'm actually going to dig into that because that's important.
Yeah, right here they have the announcements. Looks like this was just on the 22nd when they announced it. And yeah, so
Okay,
it's
hold on.
earning
Here
10%.
we
Oh,
go. So,
yeah.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh no, if you got it.
No, no, I got something else. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, so it says pay directly from your stablecoin balance, which is while it's earning 10% plus yield. So it looks like it is earning while you're not spending. So if it's just sitting there like your credit card or your Coinbase One, if it's just you're not using that money's earning you 10%. I that's what it seems like it's saying to me because
All
I don't
right.
know what other.
So what I found is how do rewards work? With every purchase made, your Plasma One card, you'll earn cash back in XPL tokens. Exact cashback
Mhm.
percentage will depend on your tier, with the highest being 4%. So it sounds very much like the Coinbase One card. Your
Okay.
stable coins on Plasma One will earn 10% plus yield through opportunities that exist within the Plasma on-chain ecosystem. So basically, what it sounds like is you can deposit and basically use it like a high interest or a high yield earning bank account. So you can put your stable coins, in your account, and you'll earn, 10% or more yield on those stable coins that you have deposited, is what I'm understanding here. Um, Also,
Okay.
the XPL tokens that you earn, you can swap, into a stable coin, and and deposit those in your account as well. So, or you can just build up your XPL tokens and put them in liquidity pools. I found today, I went and looked. There's already liquidity pools on even VFAT that you can get into, and
Mm.
then again, I'm already in a long on Avantis, for XPL. So, I mean, for only being live for like I think like not even a week, it's already over 2 billion. It's like $2.4 billion of TVL already.
Ooh.
So, I mean, I wouldn't say it's at number 50 on Coin Market Cap for as far as market cap.
Oh, since they launched Thursday. So yeah.
Yeah, not even a week.
No.
And I mean, look at what's going on with them. So, I
Jeez.
mean, this it definitely is something to keep an eye on.
I didn't even know they had a card or that they were planning on launching a card.
Hey, Millie, Millie in the chat. You were talking about the guy that was talking doesn't know about Plasma. That's actually our AI co-host. So basically, what it's doing is, and we only ask it questions about details, like telling us what the project is and things like that, because we've already explored its limitations. So
Hmm.
we know what to ask it to get accurate questions. And we know enough about the project that we can call it out if it gives bad info. So, yeah, that wasn't a human that was talking. Just wanted to let you know. I don't recognize the name, so I think you're probably new to the channel. And welcome.
Security. I don't know. Ellie was saying, how is security on that? Yeah, I don't know. How is the security with? I'm sure the Coinbase One card's pretty secure, but I don't know. I mean, I don't
Um,
see in the documentation. They probably don't have a lot about.
How does Plasma One prioritize security? Plasma One protects your funds with layered security, including biometric sign in and advanced encryption. Instead of seed phrases, we use hardware backed keys so that only you can access your money. You stay in control with instant card freeze, customizable spending limits, and real time transaction alerts. Our systems monitor for fraud around the clock while preserving full self custody of your digital dollars with bank grade protection.
Hmm.
That's interesting. So it sounds like you still self custody your assets potentially,
Oh, that's
which is
nice.
which is always one of my one of my little check boxes on my list whenever I'm dealing with trusting my liquidity to these protocols and these projects and a
Hmm.
card or a bank account or whatever. um I want to know that if this goes down, will I still have access to my liquidity? Is there a way for me to withdraw my liquidity? Because people learned during Celsius that had their liquidity on Celsius that once they deposited, it was no longer their tokens. Once they went bankrupt and went under, that became part of the bankruptcy proceedings for Celsius. And luckily, they got some of it back, but nothing near what they
Mm-mm.
had.
No, not at all. And it looks like there's a native Bitcoin bridge on here too.
Yes, I saw that. That was really really cool as well.
Yeah, PBTC, a cross-chain fungible token backed one-to-one by real Bitcoin.
Looks like that might be using Stargate.
Yeah, yeah, I think it pulled it up earlier when I clicked on there was a bridge that I clicked on. Oh yeah, right here. It takes you to the Stargate bridge.
Okay, okay.
And yeah, using token standard based on layer zero's OFT framework, the Omni chain fungible token framework. Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm on the Plasma Explorer right now. Actually, you know what? I'll just share my screen.
And they have differences between Ethereum and Plasma. So while Ethereum's general purpose, Plasma is purpose built for stablecoins. And they have timestamp precision, which Plasma uses second base timestamps for blocks. I don't know what all that is. Optimized for stable, zero fee transfers via protocol paymasters, support for custom gas tokens. So I guess you can pay in gas fees in different tokens, which some chains are offering that, which is nice. You can pay in USDC or USDT. High performance consensus, native Bitcoin bridge. So pretty nice.
Well, here's the Plasma Explorer. No, hold on. There we go. Why is it doing this?
Is it not transitioning?
Here, let's do this. There we go.
Oh
All right.
yeah.
So here's the Plasma Explorer. So transactions, 13.14 million with 83 TPS, and it looks like the median gas price, cheap as hell, as far as gas prices. Market cap 2.1 billion. Transaction fees so far, just shy of 30,000 XPL, and then this transaction history. So you can see the 27th, so 2 days ago, it looks like it started taking off. So again, like Jeff was saying, on Tuesday, September 16th, looks like it went live. And then you got Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, all the way up till now. So tomorrow will be 1 week and already has a market cap of 2.15 billion.
God,
Um, what else do we got here? So
that's huge.
let's take a look at some of this other. So yeah, layer 0 is what it's using as the protocol for swapping cross chain, because you can see here you got Plasma to Ethereum, Arbitrum to Plasma, just the back and forth. It's using layer 0. What else we got here? Internal transactions. All right. Blocks, top accounts, certified contracts, insights. So, were you able to find anything on the team? Because that would be
Just pulling that up, man.
all right. Perfect. Because that's kind of my next question. Because the tokenomics
Mhm.
is about, and I'll get into that after you talk about the team. But the tokenomics is the only thing that sort of raised a bit of a yellow flag for me. But go ahead and see what you have on
The
the
team.
team.
Yeah, they have the team on Crypto Rank actually. They have the founder, the CTO, COO, head of ecosystems, and head of growth. So we got Paul Fakes, Faecks. There's the founder. His LinkedIn doesn't. It says the page wasn't there. So, but his Twitter account right here. Oh, I need to
Sorry, I
pop
should
my
have.
pop my screen back up. Oh nope, that's me. Oh, there's my screen. Hey, nice, very nice. So this is Paul. You can check him out. Yell at him if you want. If you have problems, I guess. Um, I don't, since his LinkedIn isn't active or the page is missing, I can't pull that up. So I don't know much about his history, but Hans Walter Behrens is the CTO.
Millie says
And
Paul, he's German.
yeah, well, and this Hans Behrens is definitely German.
And it sounds like Millie might be pretty knowledgeable about this project.
Shit, right?
They say that they blocked the page due security reasons.
Yeah, thanks for sharing, man. That's
Yeah, no,
awesome.
I love it when people are in the chat that are knowledgeable about the projects we're talking about. Feel free to keep sharing information, Millie. We're watching.
Yeah. Yeah, he said the Tangem card was they integrated the dynamic of Tangem card, which is like Arculus, and they upgraded it to their form. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, thanks Kyle for the saying it's like Tangem or like Arculus. Yeah, look, he's deep in it. So Hans, so it looks like he's got some experience as a CEO and CTO and senior research scientist at Topple. Not sure what
Hmm.
Topple is. Uh, oh, okay. Los Alamos National Laboratory.
Okay.
Visiting researcher and research intern. I'm perked up now.
Yeah, right. Right.
Shit. Tell me more. um, graduated from Arizona State. So with a PhD in philosophy, computer science. master's degree of computer science. All right. So looks pretty good. He's got his Twitter right here. And let's see. Oh, Lucid, this is the COO. Doesn't have a LinkedIn page, but you can follow them here. Pretty cool PFP. Vincent Wrong. So wrong, he's right.
Yeah.
Oh, where's the laugh track? We need the laugh track.
I'll get it.
So his experience, he was a venture partner and investor at Caratage. Not sure what that is. Equity researcher. Hey.
There you go.
Okay, so he's a business and finance or economics and finance major. So yeah, venture capital investing, capital management. So he's the head of ecosystems.
So it's looking like it's a pretty strong team.
Yeah, and the head of growth right here, Nathan Lenga, co-founder and CEO of Cascade Finance, Zero Cap innovation lead and innovation analyst. He's got a bachelor of commerce and computer science. Yeah, pretty solid.
No, and like I said, I mean, anybody that's new to the channel, I know it kind of seems like we're jumping around, but we have a checklist whenever we're looking at these projects. We look at the use case, what it is, the pain point that they're trying to address. Overall, what is the project and what is it doing? We look at the team, if they're fully doxed like this team is, as far as their backgrounds, what their expertise is, because you don't want somebody building out something for stable coins and for finance that does that if the members of the team don't have a finance background, if they don't understand the the environment that they're building in, if they don't understand at a deep level what the pain points are that they're trying to address. It's very important to understand the team and where they're coming from. And then of course tokenomics. You need to understand was it a fair launch? If the majority of the tokens are being held by the team and by early investors, is there the potential for those to be dumped on the market? If you're going to invest, you want to know, am I investing pre or post dump? Or is there a dump coming? You want to understand, partnerships, if they have any partnerships, all of these things, if you are investing off of fundamentals, these are the questions that you need to ask yourself, not in for long-term investing, for real investing. Short-term investing, absolutely. You can go to social media and you can see, what's trending and, invest in those projects. And, as they pump, because, everyone FOMOs into them, you can pull liquidity out and profit, off other people's lack of discipline and, lack of investing in fundamentals. But if you're going to invest long term, if you're going to invest in DeFi and RWAs and these projects that potentially are going to be the framework of the new financial system, as DeFi, I say it as DeFi and traditional finance, have that retarded fish frog baby, from mixing together and mixing their DNA. You want to understand which projects are going to be a part of that. And as the ecosystem evolves, you need to keep your finger on that, because as things change, you might need to lift and shift. That's why me personally, I'm so laser focused on RWAs and DeFi and not messing with other narratives. There's plenty of great projects out there, but I don't have the bandwidth to keep up with all of them and understand when new news comes out. If a new partnership, if they lost one or if they got one, if they lose members of their team, like with Plume, the CTO died right before the launch. Jeff and me talked about this live. if the CTO, the brains behind the technology, would have died, months or years before that, I might have thought, twice about leaving my liquidity in, invested in Plume. But because it was right before the launch, it was, for me, the work was done. And there's people that can take that torch and run with it. These are the things that you need to ask yourself, as you're investing in these projects. These are the things that you need to understand for long-term investing. If you're trying to find that Microsoft, that Amazon, that Tesla, you know, you need to invest in this way and do it based off of facts, logic, and data. Because if you're investing solely off a social media post and hype, you are going to be exiting. I cannot stress that enough. But sorry.
Mhm.
So,
No, that's good. Oh, where's in the chat? Username was asking, how does XPL, not USDT, make money? I mean,
well, USDT doesn't unless you're using it in DeFi, it's not going to make you money. It's a stable coin. Whereas XPL is the native token for Plasma, and its price can go up and down, and you can use it in DeFi. And it sounds like, Jeff, from what you were saying earlier, that there's a separate governance token as well.
oh, that's what Miles was saying. The
Oh,
yeah, he said the
that might be inaccurate then.
yeah.
Take
I'll
that
have
with a
to
grain
look
of
more.
salt. But
Because the XPL is used for validator fees or
mhm.
rewards,
Or gas.
gas fees,
Yeah.
and yeah. And you
So
were saying
basically,
you weren't sure about the tokenomics.
yes. So I have that pulled up. Let me bring that up really quick. Here we go. Transition over. All right. So XPL distribution. The initial supply will be 10 billion XPL at mainnet beta launch, with programmatic increases further described in the validator network section below. The XPL distribution and unlock schedules are as follows. So, the allocation: early investors get 25%. The team gets another 25%. So, there's half the tokens right there. That, like I said, for me, it's not a red flag, but it is a yellow flag. For public sale, only 10% is out for public sale, and ecosystem and growth is 40%. So this is in basically an account or an escrow that they can use for airdrops or whatever else that they deem necessary. Only 10% is out in circulation. So that is down here, public sale. We want to redefine how money moves with you. So earlier this year, we announced the XPL public sale, where 10% of the supply was allocated to participants in the deposit campaign. XPL sold in the public sale are unlocked as follows. XPL purchased by non US purchasers are fully unlocked upon launch of the Plasma mainnet beta. XPL purchased by US purchasers are subject to a 12-month lockup and will be fully unlocked July 28th of 2026. Ecosystem and growth. Plasma has an opportunity to rewrite. Let me see if I can summarize this. While nobody has quite solved the riddle of network adoption, we believe that our streamlined approach. So the XPL reserve for ecosystem and growth are unlocked as follows. 40% of the XPL supply is allocated to strategic growth initiatives that are designed to expand the utility, liquidity, and institutional adoption of the Plasma network. 8% of the supply will be immediately unlocked at Plasma's mainnet beta launch to provide for certain DeFi initiatives. So this is what they're going to use for liquidity pools, for trading, just all the different DeFi that's out there. That's the liquidity that they're going to use to basically seed all of that. With strategic launch partners, liquidity needs, support exchange integrations, and implement early ecosystem growth campaigns. The remaining 32% unlocks monthly on a pro rata basis over the following 3-year period, such that 100% of the ecosystem and growth allocation is unlocked on the date that is 3 years from the launch, which was this past Tuesday. So basically September, 3 years from now in September. The team. So here's the unlock on that. A third or 1/3 of the XPL team tokens are subject to a 1-year cliff from the date of public launch. So 1/3 is not in circulation. The remaining 2/3 are unlocked monthly on a pro rata basis over the following 2-year period. So it sounds like that the 25% of the team tokens, only 1/3 is they're basically all locked right now. So 1/3, if I'm reading this right, 1/3 is unlocked 1 year from now. The remaining 2/3 over the next 2 years after that, they'll be unlocked. So that is actually a good thing. So my yellow flag is, at half mast now. It's like maybe not full mast, it's at half mast. Now, investors, let's look at their unlock. So legacy systems, in order to build a blockchain infrastructure that will underwrite our mission to rewrite financial legacy systems, we needed to raise capital, yada, yada, yada. As such, Plasma received investments from high caliber investors such as Founders Fund, Framework, and Bitfinex, among others, to support the development. All right. So they're unlocked on the same schedule as the team allocation. That, again, very bullish. That means that they're following the same template. 1/3 of the investors' tokens 1 year from now will unlock. So 1 year from what, September 23rd was it, or 25th?
25th.
Yeah. That is, there's going to be an unlock. So potentially, there could be a decent amount of XPL sold off by initial investors in the team. The rest of the 2/3. So if you go up here to this, so what would that be? 50%, third. What's a third of 50%? My brain is fried right now. Well, it'd be half of 30, or half of 33%. So 15-ish.
16 and a half.
Yeah, 16% will be unlocked a year from now, and potentially, not guaranteed, dumped on the market. So actually, my yellow flag, I would say that it's more of a like a greenish yellow flag. It's I'm
like a relish.
That actually makes me a lot more bullish on the tokenomics. I'll be
You
honest.
really like those the unlock schedules are key if you're going to have investors and stuff instead of a fair launch. You want at least a good unlock schedule that's pretty far out. Like some of them are 4 years, unlock schedules and stuff, but yeah, you really want to see that long term not get dumped on.
Do you want, actually, I have one more thing. Should we go over the inflation schedule?
Oh yeah. And Millie just said infinite coins. Don't forget 3% inflation.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Great, Millie. You're right on point. So, inflation schedule. In proof of stake blockchain networks, validator rewards are typically minted by the protocol itself. Most chains therefore introduce a controlled rate of token inflation that acts as a security budget, paying validators for the capital they stake and the computing resources they contribute to the network. When we designed XPL Validator Reward System, we focused on 2 objectives. 1, keeping validator economics attractive so that the network would be secured by industry-leading participants, and 2, limiting long-term dilution for the XPL holders. As such, the rewards mechanics are as follows. Validator rewards begin at 5% annual inflation, decreasing by 0.5% per year until reaching a long-term baseline of 3%. Inflation only activates when external validators and stake delegation goes live. That's not live yet. Emissions are distributed to stakers via validators. Locked XPL held by the team and investors are not eligible for unlock rewards.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. To limit long-term dilution for the XPL holders, Plasma follows the EIP 1559 model. Base fees paid to transact on the Plasma blockchain are permanently burned. As usage grows, this mechanism is designed to balance new emissions and combat overall inflation. So, in a nutshell, what that means is even with the inflationary aspect, initially at 5% and over time reducing to 3% and capped,
Hmm.
then then basically what it's saying is as the usage of the network goes up, it potentially could either match or exceed, the burning through fees could potentially max or exceed that 3% capped inflation rate. Does that make sense?
Nice. Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's what Ethereum's ultimately trying to do with the burn mechanism is reduce the amount of inflation that or the amount of tokens that get pumped out, so you want to offset it. Um,
Absolutely. So, I mean, do you have anything else for this project?
no, I mean that's really a lot of good alpha. I mean that really
Yeah,
helped give me a better understanding of what it's aiming to do and the team behind it and the tokenomics too. I know I saw somebody earlier on Twitter saying, "Oh, XPL price going down. It was 20% drop, but honestly, it just launched. So you sometimes you'll have a pump up and then it'll come crashing back down and find a good base. But if it's a legit project, you'll see it kind of flatten out and level. So, crazy price actions when you have a brand new token launch. And if it's anything like Linea, which you're going to bring up soon, it had a initial spike and then kind of drop and level off. So that's not a crazy thing to see. So, oh, and that you brought your Avantis trade, huh?
oh
Oh yeah,
yeah.
this is the XPL chart right here. So, yeah, you have the pump up, hit what 165, and then
Yeah, so I actually opened a long because
Mhm.
looking at this, you can see maybe opened it a little early at $1.24. I probably should have waited for this $1.19 or maybe even this $1.15 or 14. But super small position. I only put $300, but I did take a 4x leverage on it. So again, I just wanted exposure to this project. I want to try to build a bag of it. So I want to see if I can catch along and then basically, cash out, put that into, a liquidity pool. Once those get a little juicier, being so new, the TVL and whatnot isn't that great on it. But some of the APRs were just freaking amazing. So, but like again, I want to just build up some, decent amount of capital or liquidity to inject into that.
So you found some
So
liquidity pools, but they're obviously aren't going to be
they're not
on
mature
the
enough yet. Yeah,
yeah.
there's not enough TVL. There's some great fees that are being earned and stuff like that, but the volume, just really, I want to see more on volume. I want to see more on TVL.
It looks like Jayers was asking about Bluefin on Sue
Perps Dex
Network.
on Sui. I have not heard of that.
They did an airdrop earlier this year or at the end of last year, and I hadn't done much in the Sue ecosystem, and I saw some people got a pretty nice allocation, but it looks, I mean, in the past few weeks, it's pumped from 7 cents to 16 cents.
So let's. I want to
We can
dive.
do we can cover that tomorrow.
Yeah.
If
Well.
you want
Yeah.
to.
We'll see what's up. Yeah. We'll take a look and see if it's worth covering. But yeah, make a note of it, brother.
Yeah.
So real quick, I want to get into some really what I feel is really important news, and and this is something that I've been trying to been trying to convey, and I've been trying to be as tactful as possible. Because it has to do with XRP. I was a huge XRP holder. I was in the top 2% of holders, but and I was very bullish on it for all through the bear market. But you cannot ignore how things have changed, and some things are bullish, but there is definitely some cause for concern. And I keep trying to send up the flare, telling people, just please make sure you're not overexposed and all in on XRP, because a lot has changed. So the narrative for a long time by all the XRP maxis was that Ripple was going to replace the outdated system Swift, which I believed because technology evolves, and with this new technologies, something has to give. It's people aren't going to keep using the outdated Swift system. However, with legislation, Swift has woken up and they said, we need to update our system using this technology or we're going to get replaced. They have the banks. They have over 10,000 banks that are currently using them in over 200 different countries. They control 1/6 of the entire movement of liquidity across the globe. They are not playing catch up to Ripple. They are the 800-pound gorilla, and they are updating their system using as of today, using Linea for the messaging aspect and Chainlink, and this is just my take on it, for the liquidity aspect. Because what Chainlink does is it's an oracle for interoperability. So with that interoperability, potentially that gives, Chainlink gives them access to liquidity across every chain that Chainlink is on, that utilizes Chainlink, that's integrated with Chainlink. So all of the stablecoin liquidity on ETH, and all these different projects, all these different stablecoin projects, all of that liquidity and all of those tokenized assets, Plume, Ethereum, just all the layer twos, base, all of that is going to, they're going to have access to that liquidity. If you look at the data again, I'm all about data. So really quick, let's look at this. So all of these projects or all of these companies that you see on this picture, I pulled up on Grok because I wanted to know what each of them was. Swift is the global provider of secure financial messaging, cross-border remittances, all of that. The DTCC, Depository Trust and Clearing Corporation. They're a key player in post-trade financial services, providing clearing and settlement for securities transactions, managing a significant portion of the U.S. market with an estimated 90% or 98% of cleared transactions. Euroclear, a leading provider of settlement and custody services for financial securities processing for a substantial volume of European market transactions. Six, operates Switzerland's financial market infrastructure, including stock exchanges and payment systems, holding a significant market share in Swiss financial services trading. TMX, Canada's Sebelldom, whatever that is, Central America. Grupo BMV, Mexican. ADX or ADDX, Singapore. Orbis Technology, fintech firm providing trading and risk management solutions. Market Node, a blockchain-based platform for financial market infrastructure. WAMID, a Middle Eastern financial market infrastructure provider. This I cannot stress it enough. Swift, when they fully launch this, it is going to be day one from launch. This is going to be what 1/6 of banks, liquidity that's moving around the globe is going to be using. Ripple, they know this is coming. They saw it coming. That is why they developed RLUSD and put it on ETH mainnet. Will the XRP ledger be dead? Probably not. And I want to show you some data. There is some things going on with it. It is not going to $1,000. It is not going to $10,000. I cannot stress that enough. And I'll be the first to admit if I'm wrong, but the data does not support it. And I'm going to share the data with you now. DeFi Llama, look up the XRPL. The total value locked on the XRPL for DeFi, $101 million. That is nothing. And you can see there's some jumps, but it's not, since April, but it's not going parabolic. It's not doing anything crazy. There is no DEXs on the XRPL. So as far as DeFi, not a whole lot going on. The stablecoin market cap, $179 million. Almost nothing. You come over here to RWA.xyz. What's that?
Peanuts.
Yeah. You come over to RWA.xyz. The total amount of value of tokenized assets. We're not talking about cross-border remittances. We're not talking about, the movement of value. This is something that the XRPL, could stick around for, because there is a decent amount of tokenization being done on it. RWA value. There's $356 million of RWA value. Decent amount. Stablecoin market cap, $270 million. In the past 30 days, it's up quite a bit. That's very good. However, stablecoin 30-day transfer volume is down 35%. RWA 30-day transfer volume down. Not a whole lot of tokenized assets on the XRPL. And there's 5 stablecoins. Only 25 RWA holders and only 33,000 stablecoin holders. This is peanuts. This is peanuts. I cannot stress this enough. So you need to understand the data. Do not invest off of social media posts. 90 to 95% of what I see on X, I try to comment on, because it is nothing but hype. I don't know if these people are getting paid. I don't know if it's just that XRP is a huge narrative and garners a lot of of engagement, and so people are just using it to try to grow a channel. Do not listen to these people. Please don't even listen to me. Please do your own research. This is just my 4 to 5 years of my personal looking at, and again, I'm retired. I have all day if I want to do research on these projects. And I did on XRP. That's why I know so much about it. People on social media try to tell me I don't know about XRP. I'll sit and debate somebody till the cows come home on XRP. I know all about ODL, which is now Ripple payments. The first time anybody brings up ODL, I'm like, your information's outdated. ODL became Ripple payments. If they don't understand that RLUSD on ETH mainnet, in no way does it use XRP. If it's on ETH mainnet, it doesn't use XRP for gas. It doesn't use XRP for liquidity. It doesn't use XRP for anything. You need to understand how these technologies work. Any thoughts on Plasma's trillion? Here, real quick. I
Not
think that's
sure.
really all I had on XRP. But
It looks like somebody asked if it was possible to activate the audio in Espanol on the videos.
no. On our whenever after we end the stream and YouTube does its processing and stuff, there will be subtitles. But yeah, as far as audio, I don't know anything about that.
Hmm.
So basically, what the gist of what I want to get at, I'm not trying to just bash XRP. I am just trying to state how things have changed for the project. It is not the same project, and the ecosystem, of cross-border remittances and cross-border payments has changed. And if you do not acknowledge that, and you do not understand how, you should not be invested in XRP. That means you have not done your research. It's I cannot stress this enough. So please, 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 um, and I can go on and on about all these different banks and that are with that are currently with Swift. And I'm not a Swift maxi. It's yeah. I mean, I wish that Ripple, would have, been the one that replaced, Swift. But the writing is on the wall.
It's already integrated with the whole world, so it's kind of hard to replace, or just it's easier to build off of what's already there and established.
Well, and you need to understand how these banks and institutions think, and I, to a degree, do. I've sat in conference rooms and had closed door sessions with large institutions and banks, and some of my past experience, and they want whatever is easiest. Whatever if Swift can upgrade their system that they're currently integrated with, to the new ISO standard, of messaging, and they can have all the compliance, all the legal compliance, and the KYC and the AML, and if they can just all of a sudden start using the upgraded Swift system, and they're going to have faster payments. They're not going to need Nostro Vostro. They're all of these things. If they can do that without having to invest any of their own money, or change anything about how they do business all day long. Why are they going to cause issues, and potential issues with their operations going with something like Ripple when they can just stay with Swift that's already integrated with over 10,000 different banks in 200 different countries, and for decades has been moving liquidity cross border and doing it cheaply, quickly, and again, eliminating Nostro Vostro accounts and all of those things that everyone always talks about when it comes to cross border payments. It's a no brainer. It really is. It doesn't take a whole lot of thought. So anyway, let's go through some of these questions. What do we got?
Yeah, we had a bunch come in right at the.
Yeah, no, and I want to make sure that I appreciate the interaction, so I want to make sure that we get to them all. So let's see.
Yeah, that was the bluefin that Jers was talking about. So yeah, we could touch on some of that stuff tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah, because there's quite a bit that we can go, like Lend. They had some good. They've had some good
All right, so
DeFi
Jers
stuff.
said I missed out on it. I completely missed out on it.
The bluefin airdrop.
I opened a long yesterday, and it's been having a nice run. Checking out their pools, and they have some nice 200 to 400% APYs. That's nice. I like it. I like it. Deadwood, hey, what's up, family? What up, brother? Good to see you.
And they were
Folsom
talking about
Hodl.
XRP.
I honestly, Folsom, not financial advice. I am not a financial advisor. I sold 40,000 XRP at $2. You know, and I'm happy with that. I was stacking all through the bear market at 50 cents down to like 34 cents. So to me, I got a nice return on investment off to bigger and better things. You know, I've gotten into DeFi, making a ton of money there. With it, how high the market cap is on XRP, there's better plays in my opinion. But you know, by all means, you know, if you feel like I don't think $10 is an unrealistic. I would say probably you know 5 to maybe 8 or 4 to maybe $8 is probably more realistic. Looking at you know an $8 trillion market cap, and I'm not coming up with this. This is just kind of you know in the you know the crypto circles, you know all the channels that I watch, and you know all the people in our network. You know, kind of the consensus. The experts think that an $8 to $10 trillion market cap is probably where we're going to top out potentially. You know, this bull cycle, and that would lend to a you know roughly you know 4 to $8 XRP potentially. You know, does it guarantee it? Absolutely not. So you might want to look at laddering out. You know, you might want to take your initial out now, depending on when you got in, and then look at laddering out. You know, as it goes up. Just my 2 cents. Um, what else?
How about those ETFs and Nothing Burger?
Careful with the ETFs. It's done really well for Bitcoin. ETH, not as much as far as impact to price. You know, if you've been watching the price of ETH, you know, even with some of the ETFs, I mean, you know, we're struggling with, you know, trying to break all time highs, you know, currently. Um, so, you know, an ETF, it isn't a guarantee of price appreciation. I'll put it that way. Oh, yes. I'm not trying to get people out of XRP jers. Yes, I'm just trying to snap them out of this. If I have 1,000 XRP, I'm going to have generational wealth. You know, because a lot of these influencers, you know, keep saying that it's going to $1,000, it's going to $10,000. It's there is not going to be the flip of the switch that's going to make you you know an instant billionaire from holding a couple of XRP. If that's the case, I think I have like maybe a couple of hundred XRP sitting around and you know as dust in wallets, and you know then okay yeah I guess I'll have generational wealth too. Um, if they have a following on YouTube and shill XRP, then you know they are paid. I kind of wonder, you know, I honestly do. If because I know that you know Ripple has extensively used XRP, you know, for operations, you know, to sell for operations. Any thought about Plasma's trillion? Not sure what that is. You're talking about that,
I'll
that.
I'll
Is there
have
a
to look into
project
that.
called Trillions?
Uh, I don't know. I'll have to do more research on that. I give an update tomorrow.
All right. And then yeah, Deadwood, 1 billion coin unlocks per month on XRP. You know, and Ripple controls that, so they you know they continually dump on the market. You know, the founders, you know they've continually sold you know their XRP. I mean, if XRP was going to $100, you know, $10,000, $1,000, do you really think that you know that Chris Larson and you know all these you know founders and you know Ripple would be selling off XRP? I doubt it.
Nope.
You know, I mean, don't listen to what they say. Watch what they do. That is a better indication.
Okay, I got the trillions. So it's the meme coin that was launched.
Hmm.
It's a
There is
viral
a
trillions meme coin, which embodies the project's ambitious vision for the stablecoin economy, reaching trillions in market cap and volume. Uh-huh. So it was launched and deployed, peaked at a 60 million market cap today. So,
I did
okay.
see a liquidity pool with XPL and trillions.
Hmm.
I don't do meme coins. I refuse. I don't care how much money it will make me. I am not going to participate in that. The again, on pump.fun, whatever people do with that, meme coin of ours is up to you. It was a fair
Mhm.
launch. All the tokens are out there. I bought $50. He bought $50. I own like 0.5% of the total. It's whatever you guys want to do with it, have at it. It's
Mhm.
We just wanted to be able to stream on pump.fun. So yeah. I mean, I hope if you guys want to buy the token to be a part of the family or whatever, and we can
Mm.
trade it amongst ourselves, whatever. But yeah, I'm not expecting anybody to do anything with it. So have fun
Yep.
with it. Let me see if I got anything else before we cut this off. Let me know if you find anything.
No, I was going to say something about the Linea token. I know that
Yeah,
with
yeah,
the
please.
whole Swift thing, the Linea token just launched a few weeks ago, and getting that airdrop, I know before. So Linea Network launched like 2.5 years ago, and it was built by Consensus, who made MetaMask. And the founder was saying, he was hinting at something earlier this year, that holding the Linea token would have really good rewards in the future, or really good benefits and stuff. So hearing the news of the Swift incorporating, or Chainlink, incorporating the Linea network and the Linea token and stuff, has kind of perked my ears, and I'm like, oh shit, this might have something to do with holding the Linea token, for some kind of future reward based system or plan that they have. So I don't know if that'll bring in a lot more liquidity, but I've stuck my airdrop in a liquidity pool on
Mhm.
VFAT, so that's sitting there. I think I have like 30 something thousand tokens or so, or
You know what?
27,000.
Grow that bag, dude.
Yep. Yep.
It's I mean that's what DeFi is all about. And I mean that's what I do is potentially there's like 5 different projects that I've seeded with around $800, and currently I have about some of them I have like twice as much now, and some of them I have 4 or 5 times, and
Hmm.
and then as those projects recover some of this bleeding that the whole market has done, um those it's going to be nothing but upside, because a lot of the yield that I'm earning, the rewards are in those tokens. And so I'm just stacking those bags. If the market goes down, I'm stacking. If it goes sideways, I'm stacking. If it goes up, I'm stacking. So um, that's where my focus is right now, is just to try to get as many tokens of these projects that I'm personally bullish on, um, before we hopefully get this alt season, this parabolic alt season where everything pumps. And I guarantee you that I am going to stick to my ladder out plan. I have it set with my spreadsheet that we have shared for free in our Discord. Um, I am going to take profits. And I don't care if people are talking super cycle. I don't care if they're talking, extended cycle. We're going to keep, pumping. I don't care. I have my exit strategy planned. It's mapped out on my spreadsheet. And if I hit even half of my take profits, I should have, at least a couple $100,000 that I can DeFi, stable coins, and start DCAing into Bitcoin and building out a new DeFi portfolio using the the $2, $3, $4, $5 $1,000 a month that I can earn off of stable coins, because I already know where I can put that liquidity and earn 10 to 50% easily on stable coins. Remove myself from the volatility and have that treasury that I just have a couple of $1,000s a month to just invest. And it's OPM, other people's money. I don't have to invest a single dollar of my own money. I can just use other people's money to grow my investments, and diversify, and buy real estate. And I can, take out loans against my assets. There's so many things that you can do. So if you're new to the channel, I mean, it looks to be like we have about 500 people watching across different platforms right now. We have a bunch of new viewers. If you haven't, go back, watch some of our videos. It's especially with DeFi and airdrops and things like that. On Wednesdays and Fridays, we have super smart dudes. David is
alphas.
the guy is like a freaking savant when it comes to DeFi. And then you have Jake Call, super smart dude. And both of them have very different strategies in DeFi. Jake right now is more focused on exposure to assets. So he's looking at stacking bags, much like I am. Whereas David, he actually has a different strategy where he has his treasury and he uses it to earn yield to live off of. So he 100% lives off of his DeFi yield that he earns, and is looking at buying a home. And it's not like he's living in a van down by the river. He is he's looking to to buy a house and do a lot of different things. And he has the DeFi University. So if you are interested, again, in full disclosure, we've built in to where you guys can use the links to join his DeFi University. There is a bunch of free stuff on his website. And then also, if you choose, you can pay, and I'm a part of it as well. It's, as far as being a member, you can pay $97 a month to be a part of his daily live calls, Monday through Friday. I'm in there. I've started going because I want to learn from him, because I've only been doing DeFi for a year. I have a lot of stuff figured out, but I have a lot more that I need to learn. So I'm learning from David. And then Metrics Finance, some exciting stuff about to come out with Metrics Finance. And me and Jake are probably going to do an episode on it. So currently, it focuses on liquidity pools. So basically being able to simulate liquidity pools and what it will look like. You can put in all the variables, and it uses live data to tell you, how much that you potentially could earn, and from historical data and present data, things like that. So it gives you an idea of of what potentially you could earn. He is working on. He's been working with David to come up with the functionality of an added functionality, but they're adding borrowing and lending to the app here very soon. Jake actually sent me a screenshot of the progress. Very excited about that, because that is one of the DeFi plays that I'm going to be using with my stable coins, is lending out stable coins and lending out crypto to earn yield, and then borrowing against that. So I'll be
The loop-de-loop.
Exactly. I'll be earning from lending it out. I'll pay to borrow, a small loan, loan to value ratio. I'll take that loan and loop it back and re-lend it out, or put it in liquidity pools to boost my earning to pay back that loan. And it's a way that I can lever up my leverage to grow my portfolio faster. So does it increase risk? Absolutely. But you need to be a part of a community like this and learn so that you can make it match your risk profile and your financial goals. So anyway,
and it can help lessen your tax burden too by
it
the
can.
loans. That
And
because you don't pay taxes on the loans, right? And
talk to a
or,
tax professional.
yeah.
So my brother Taylor, that's on the Thursday show, that's the estate lawyer, and Jeff, TradFi Jeff is a licensed financial advisor. But you'll want to talk to an accountant to be 100% sure, because crypto, with crypto legislation being drafted, it's an evolving, it's an evolving thing. But yes, you are correct. As it sits right now, um, loans or debt is not taxable. So potentially taking out a loan against your assets is a way of accessing that liquidity without incurring a taxable event. So that is another reason why I'm so bullish on DeFi. Is after I pay this freaking after I get the how can I say it without being offensive, after I get bent over by the U.S. government and the IRS, if I end up making a
Peg
bunch
no
of money,
stablecoin.
yeah, and to get it into stable coins, after that, I am going to be looking for every opportunity to mitigate my tax liabilities, and that's probably going to be a big way of how I do it, is leveraging borrowing and lending. So,
Hmm.
all right, well, we're over time. You, any questions or
No,
before we go?
that's all I wanted to share was that Linea thing, and yeah, make sure that you guys are checking out the other DeFi, uh, the DeFi Academy that Mike has, and the DeFi Masterclass with David and Jake, because man, even I'm learning so much. I've been in the space, you know, over 5 years, and I'm learning so much, so much. And I know this is going to be very valuable in my financial future. So I appreciate you having them on and bringing them together.
Absolutely. No, it's that's what this channel is trying to be all about. Is just it's not necessarily being us being the subject matter experts on everything.
Hmm.
I very much like to find subject matter experts. So again, Taylor is an estate planner. He has multiple law firms in McKinney, Texas, and the surrounding area, where he does wills, trusts, sets up S corps and things like that. For people, you know, what's that called? I had a brain cramp. Um, Basically, consults.
Will,
He consults with people that are starting up businesses on how they can structure to mitigate taxes and things like that. Also owns a couple of title companies, so he's very, very knowledgeable and has his finger on the pulse of both commercial and residential real estate. TradFi Jeff has been doing traditional finance and investing and managing people's portfolios for decades. Super, super funny, cool guy. You have David and Jake, both super knowledgeable about DeFi and very successful at it. That's something that you want to look at. If you're going to take advice from somebody, how successful are they? It's if they're losing money, do you really want to be listening to them? If you have been around in crypto for a while, you can see who it is that has truly been successful, because a lot of people that were claiming that they were being successful disappeared for a really long time, and now they're trying to make a comeback. Now that the market was starting to heat back up, all of a sudden they come crawling out of the woodwork. The people that were putting in the time and they were staying up to speed on everything, that were investing in new projects, and they were staying engaged all through the bear market when it was boring. Those are the people you want to pay attention to. So anyway, I can keep talking forever, so I'll cut myself off. So appreciate you all out there,
yes, yes.
for joining us. Peter, Jers, freaking, we got all kinds of people. Cesar 78, Ellie,
Folsom, Deadwood.
Folsom.
Millie,
Oh yeah,
thank you.
yeah, Deadwood. All of you out there, appreciate it. Please, on your way out, give us a like. Help us grow the channel. Help us get the good word out there. And because people more than ever, they need to hear facts. They need to hear data, not hype. We will not hype anything. I won't even hype the stuff that I'm invested in. I'll tell you the truth about the projects I'm invested in. If there's negative things that you need to be aware of on Plume, on Ondo, on on Casper, on whatever, I will be 100% truthful with you. Join our Discord if you have questions. I am happy. I'm in there all the time. I am happy to answer any questions you have. But yeah, be careful on Discord though. We've actually had quite a few people trying to impersonate me and using AI to, with some of our shorts to make me say things that. And the last one was kind of obvious. You could tell, that it was kind of a cheap AI, but they're getting better.
Mm-hmm.
So make sure that you're talking to me or Jeff or before. And we're never going to ask for access to your assets or your wallet or tell you to send us anything. If anybody does that, instant red flag. So, all right, this time for real. Appreciate y'all. Have a great great evening, and until next time, Veteran Crypto out.
Peace.